Hello and welcome to my Let's Play for Alien Soldier, a game from Sega and Treasure. Treasure is a hardcore action game developer based out of Japan. They've been doing it for over 20 years, and Alien Soldier is actually one of their most famous and notorious games. It's actually very rare. They only sold copies in Japan. There was a PAL version for Europe and the like, but I'm actually going to play the Japanese version because I just don't trust that PAL timing won't ruin the speed of the game. So as you can see, the Japanese text at the bottom of the screen, this is the Japanese version. So first, let's talk about narrative. There is a story scrolling up here. I don't know that it's that relevant to the actual gameplay. It's this very high concept outer space story about a terrorist leader who gets transformed into a Birdman and then goes against his former group. It's not that well related to the actual content of the game, so I would almost call it like trivia. The actual narrative of the game is in the live or die, whether your player will survive within the game mechanics themselves. There are no cutscenes, it is a linear narrative. So let's go ahead to the title screen here. I really love the Japanese version because it has this line, "Now is time to the 68,000 Heart on Fire." So what does that mean? Well, the Genesis, or the Mega Drive as it was known outside of North America, has a Motorola 68,000 processor in it, and that's what it's referring to. You also see the little subtitle here for Mega Driver's Custom. That implies that this is a kind of Treasure's swan song for the Genesis or the Mega Drive. It's their kind of maximizing of this platform as they send it off to die. So let's talk about the types of players this is for. And there's a clue in the fact of these difficulty labels here. Super easy and super hard are the two difficulty levels. Well, that's funny. That's kind of elitist because even the super easy mode is very hard indeed. This game is unforgiving. So the type of player that this is for is definitely a core gamer, probably thinking back 20 years when this was released, probably an adolescent gamer, probably male, someone who had grown up on platformers, like Mario, and they wanted more. So this was definitely more for them. Very core game indeed, very unforgiving for casual audiences. So I'm going to play on super easy because I am not that hardcore at this game, and I think you'll still find that it's enough of a challenge. So let's go into the game itself. Okay, so we can talk about the core mechanics here. First of all, you have the ability to choose 4 weapons at the beginning of the game. And this actually functions a little bit like deck building in a game like Dominion. You have 4 slots, you can put 4 different types of items in. I'm going to choose Buster Force, which is a kind of straight ahead gun. There's a spread gun kind of thing. I'm not going to use that. Flame Force is a flamethrower. Homing Force I like, and I'm going to actually take 2 of those because they go in on the enemies, they zone in on them automatically, and I need all the help I can get. Sword Force is a laser gun. Lancer Force is like a really strong but slow laser gun, and I think I will use that for when I have a clear shot at the bosses. Okay, so let's actually take a look at the status window settings. Type 1 here is a kind of traditional bar that shows your player and enemy and the amount of weapon you have left. And you can also set it to type 2, which is the same thing but in numerical values. Now, here's something interesting. Type 3, it obscures them. So why would it do that? Well, it's a kind of hardcore game thing to not let the player know what kind of energy levels he's at. So, why would we do this? Well, according to Zimmerman in his rules of play, uncertainty is actually part of what makes games fun. It's fun not to know what's happening next, and that plays out in many ways, from randomness, random items that spawn when you kill enemies. But in this case, the uncertainty is the player doesn't know themselves how well they're doing. So for certain elite gamers, they want that to make the game more fun and more challenging and more show-offy. But I am not that type of gamer, so I'm going to set it to type 1. Okay, here is a very actually kind of modern way to show you the controls. This is how you are taught them. It's very much like the modern games like Bayonetta, where they teach you the controls and you're allowed to kind of play around and try them out before the game begins. I think this is the first example of a game I can remember where they did something like this, except for maybe some arcade games. No, I don't think you could actually control. So it's traditional, core mechanics are very traditional, side scroller, left and right moves left and right. C is a jump button, B is your shot, the current weapon you have equipped. You can select a weapon by pressing A. A little Secret of Mana style menu comes up where the items twirl around you, and you can choose them. I'm going to set it to my homing one here. And you can also change the shoot mode. Automatically at first you have this mode where you can shoot in any direction, but you can't walk at the same time, so I can walk or I can shoot. If I push down and A, whoops, down and A, then it switches me, and I can actually move, but I can't choose the direction. So that's kind of interesting there. You switch between them to get the best roll for the situation. Zero teleport, take a look at this. You can go across the screen. The first one, I think if you have full health, I believe, attacks them. But this is just a crucial move to dodge enemies. And Counterforce double B, I believe you parry and you add projectile weapons to your own weapon energy. There's also a hover mode. You can hover in midair, which is really cool. And later I'll show you can actually go on the ceiling. So let's start the game. This is a very hard game, so I apologize if it's hard to talk and play at the same time, but I'll do my best. So you can see very traditional run and gun side-scroller mechanics. You run mostly to the right, and enemies shoot at you. You have a health bar. If they shoot you or touch you, that health bar goes down. Let's try and survive this here. Already you can see right out of the gate things get difficult. Here's a form of uncertainty in this power-up move I got, this power-up mechanic move I just got, and added it to my deck, per se, which is what I'll call it. And you don't know which one you're going to get, and that also means your deck builds up in interesting ways. So I actually can't sit around and talk. There's a timer, which I am aware of, at the top of the screen, and that's a constraint that makes for a tension arc. You don't know if you're going to survive before the timer runs out. It adds an element of fun, wondering if you'll survive or fail. So you can see I'm running on the ceiling there. It's a variation on the hover move. And an interesting thing about this game is it's actually one big boss rush. A little bit like Shadow of the Colossus. There are sequences where you fight lesser enemies, but those sequences are pretty much about as short as the one I just went through. Mostly the game is all big, unique, memorable bosses. So I'm going to do my best to beat this guy here so we can actually go on into the game and see more of it, but there's no guarantees of that. If I die in this, it still is a pretty accurate representation of the game, I'll be honest. It's very difficult. So why is a game like this fun? Well, we can think of the MDA framework, that's mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics, thought up by Huneke, LeBlanc, and Zubek. And, oh, there we go, I died. So this game is very difficult. Okay, so thinking about the MDA mechanics, mechanics are the various rules of the game itself, how it's set up, and how all of the ways that it's been set up for you to play in. Dynamics are the way that they actually play out, working with each other and also with the player's input. And aesthetics are the ways in which those things come together and result in fun. And there are different types of aesthetics. We don't mean looks in this case, although looks can be a part of it. The first one that I would say this game definitely has is sensation. There is a lot of thrilling visuals going on here, and music and action and sound effects and graphics, and it's very just viscerally thrilling to play this game. So that one is a part of it. There is also challenge, and maybe I don't need to explain any more than I've already shown you. This game is very challenging, and people like to overcome challenges, and that's why it's fun. There is also narrative. Okay, yeah, there's narrative in the sense of the story at the beginning. I don't think that really necessarily is that core to it. But let's also talk about narrative and fantasy. Do people have the fantasy of wanting to be a Birdman? Maybe not, but the fantasy of being a really cool action hero who does impossibly amazing things, yes, I'd say that this game does give you that fantasy, so that is at play here. It'd be really nice if I could beat this guy, but I don't know. It's nice to want things. I'll tell you, even if you're not doing a let's play of this and talking, this is a challenging game right out of the gate. Personally, myself, I've only seen a little ways into the game because I'm just not that good at it. Luckily, there is a password system. This doesn't have a battery backup or save state or anything like that. But it does let you continue. But at this point, because I haven't even beaten one boss, continuing would mean going back to the beginning of the game. So there are ways in which this game is fair, giving you that password system, and in the general sense, it's not. But the way in which it is unfair is kind of a little unlike older games. It's not a badly designed game, it's just very difficult, and you have to use high-quality maneuvers to outwit the challenges. High-quality maneuvers that you just see I do not have yet. So I think I'll leave the Let's Play at that. This is a very fun game. If you want to play it, you can buy it on the Virtual Console on the Wii. I don't believe it's on the Wii U Virtual Console yet, but on the Wii. Or you can find it on eBay for hundreds of dollars if you're that kind of person. Okay, thank you for watching, and play it if you like punishment. Thank you very much.